Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jashira, and I am an incarnated angel, an akashic record reader, and a palm reader. Today I wanted to talk about lower vibrational, lower level spirits that you might come in contact with and that might reach out to you because they want to work with you, quote unquote. These lower vibrational and lower level spirits might be lost souls, egregores, or even lower level demons, among other things. For context, an egregore is basically a consciousness that is created when a certain amount of people believe in it for a certain amount of time. Now, similar to your own spirit guide team, they, the egregores, lower level demons, lost souls, etc., might reach out to you because they want to quote unquote work with you, as I mentioned before. The thing is that for the most part, these lower level and lower vibrational entities will not actually help you. What they seek is to satisfy themselves at any cost. Alright, I am back. I had to move from the backyard to my room because, first of all, it was hot, and second of all, there's someone here working, helping my grandfather around. So I'm now in my rooms. If you hear any sounds, it might be the person working outside, the air conditioner in my room, or my dogs, which are with me right now. But anyway, I was talking about lower level entities and that they seek to satisfy themselves at any cost. Okay, so if they need to trick you in order to satisfy themselves, they will do it. And one way they can trick you, which actually happened to me, is that they will cloak themselves and appear as a quote unquote spirit guide, a deity, or even a saint. These lower level spirits can be found in every religion and belief system. I've seen them in voodoo, hoodoo, palo mayombe, santeria, and also mentioned in the Bible and the Torah and in religions like Christianity, Judaism, and these big religions and big belief systems that are now kind of like had taken over people's spirituality in a sense. But yeah, I've seen them everywhere, and I've seen them mentioned in a lot of religious books and religious texts. One example I can give you is that in the Bible, there are depictions of God which contradict each other. And when you look into it more, when you start researching more into what the Bible actually means, you realize that they actually depict low vibrational spirits that only want to harm people in order to obtain power. So some mentions of God in the Bible are actually lower vibrational spirits trying to fool the people and trying to make them work for them so they can obtain power and control as well. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about my experience with these lower vibrational entities. So there was a time that I worked at this mystical shop for 2 years. And this mystical shop sold everything from spiritual baths to crystals and tarot cards and whatnot. The owner, at least from what I could see, he practiced Santeria, voodoo, and palo mayombe. Also, from what I could see, and sometimes spiritual spiritual shop owners will have images of their spirit guides or deities that they serve in their shop, and also will do like maybe mini rituals inside the shop as well to bring abundance and things like that. So from what I could see, one of his main spirit guides was Saintclaire. Occasionally he would gift me spiritual baths for cleansing, which I took because I always felt he wanted to help me, because mainly what he made, and he made these by hand, he made spiritual baths for cleansing negative energies and whatnot with plants. I saw him do it. It was all with plants. He always did the baths at the shop, so I was always watching him do the process and the blessing and everything. So I kind of felt safe taking them. But anyway, and this will actually tie into the story a little bit later on, but let me keep on going. So fast forward to the last days of me working there, and my spirit team got me out of there, out of the store, in a whirlwind of events, which I'm still a little bit confused about what happened, but it did happen. And one of those things that happened before my spirit guides got me out of there, and one of those reasons that my spirit guides got me out of there, was that I was rapidly becoming more and more exhausted as time went by as I was working there. Now, this wasn't your typical tired exhaustion. I can't say tiredness. I don't know. I'm gonna say exhaustion. So this wasn't your typical exhaustion. I actually began to feel sick whenever I even thought about having to go back to work in those last few days. So after everything happened, after I got out of there, my spirit guides got me out of there. A few months passed, and one night I dreamt of Saintclaire. And I don't know why I dreamt about her, because I hadn't even been thinking about the store nor anything in it for months now. So it was really confusing. But I dreamt about Saintclaire, and in the dream... Okay, let me look up the dream because I wrote it down. And I wrote it down because I felt there was a message there, also because I was very scared. But in the dream, Saintclaire, she turned from a statue, those mini statues that people use to represent their deities or their saints. So she turned. Oh, and for those who don't know who Saintclaire is a spirit that many people pray to for clarity of mind and opening roads. In terms of, I'm not sure if it's Santeria. I think it's Santeria. But anyway, in my dream, she turned from a small statue into a woman, and I thought that she was there to help me. I asked her questions because I was excited that she was there to help me. I could feel like the the excitement in my dream as I was asking questions and talking to her. And then by the end of the dream, she sat on the side of my bed as I was lying down to go to sleep in my dream. But something seemed off. Her teeth became sharp and elongated, and her eyes widened and turned from brown into this yellowish color, kind of like a vampire. You know, she looked kind of like the vampires of this new movie Abigail. I think it's the movie's called Abigail. It's about vampires. She looked kind of like that. And as she turned into a vampire, I had a feeling that she was going to hurt me, so I grabbed her robe in my dream and began to sing, Jesus is my pastor, I need for nothing 3 times or so, something like that, and then I woke up. After waking up, I quickly obviously wrote down my dreams so I wouldn't forget it. And then I wrote to a friend of mine who had been helping me piece together what had happened when I left the store, because it was just such a confusing sequence of events that I knew that there had to be something more spiritual happening. So I wrote to her, and I had a few conversations with her, and we finally pieced together that due to my proximity for those 2 years that I was working there, due to my proximity to Saintclaire, the spirit now wanted to work with me. And she was using fear to try to rope me along and do as she said. So the fear tactics were what started sounding the alarm in my head for me, because my actual high vibrational spirit guides, my actual high vibrational spirit team, had never, absolutely never, used fear tactics on me for anything at all. Not only that, my spirit guides have never asked me for any offerings or anything of the kind except for me to live my life, learn, let go of the past, and fulfill my purpose and soul contract here on earth. Which was kind of the exact opposite of what I felt Saintclaire wanted of me. Now, I say this because having watched my previous boss work with Saintclaire, I knew that this entity required offerings and some other things. So from the get-go, I felt that this was really bad, and that I should not be interacting with this kind of spirit. Usually, the lower level, low vibrational spirits are the ones that seek out offerings and use fear tactics to scare people into doing their bidding and going into spiritual contracts with them. On the other hand, in my experience, high vibrational beings support and help you the way you need to be supported and helped without asking much in return. If your high vibrational spirit guides do ask for something, it's usually gratitude. Or if they do ask for offerings or for you to do something specific, they do it in order to instill discipline, patience, and perseverance in you. Also, they ultimately leave it up to you to decide whether or not you want to do what they are recommending. unlike lower level entities who will threaten you and maybe even haunt you, go into your dreams to scare you in order to make you do something that they want you to do. But high vibrational spirit guides, high vibrational spirits do not go into your dreams and do not use scare tactics for you to do something. The most the high vibrational spirits will ever do, if they see that you are not progressing no matter what they recommend, is that they will step back and not communicate with you for a time until you learn what needs to be learned on your own. Also, high vibrational spirit guides, spirit beings in general, also do not cut you off from family, friends, or your life in general by ordering you to put all of your energy and time in venerating them. Quite the opposite. Most high vibrational spirits do not want to be venerated, which is what some lower level, low vibrational spirits actually want you to do. They want you to put all of your energy onto them so that they can absorb all that energy, so they can be fed. Very similar to narcissists. High vibrational spirits, on the other hand, want you to live your life, have friends, have family, and forge more connections with others, because that is one way that you can share, ground, and teach the divine knowledge and lessons that come to you specifically. Lower level spirits want to isolate you a lot of the times from everyone around you so they can keep you to themselves. So another thing that low vibrational, lower level spirits do, like I mentioned, is suck your energy, but they leave you tired and exhausted. At the time, I'm returning to my story, at the time while working at the shop, I didn't know it, but later I found out that some of the quote-unquote spirit guides that the owner of the store was working with were actually lower level, low vibrational demons. I realized later on that some of them were sucking my energy, and that was one of the reasons that my spirit team wrenched me, literally pulled me out of working from that store in such a chaotic manner. Now, you may be thinking, why was I working at that store in the first place? Well, looking back at first, when I entered the store, nothing seemed wrong. And also, I had always wanted to work at a mystical store to see what it was like, because I really wanted to start my own spiritual business. So I wanted to see what it was like. So at first, nothing seemed wrong. Everything seemed okay. But also, and most importantly, my intuition was telling me to be there. And why would my intuition tell me to go into such a dangerous place? Because it was putting me in a situation that I needed to be exposed to in order to learn about, that side of spirituality and that side of magic, in order to have the experience to later on teach others and warn others. Also, I do believe it was to develop a backbone. So once I had identified that Saintclaire was actually a lower level energy sucking demonic entity, I made up my mind to decline her quote unquote offer, which was actually a threat. I sat down with my pendulum, called on my higher level and light spirit guides, including my higher self and my angels, and declared out loud that I respectfully did not want to work with Saint Claire, or the entity that presented itself as Saint Claire, and that I never wanted it to present itself to me in any way, shape, or form again. I, out loud, banned it from my presence and my energy forevermore. I then asked my spirit team to reinforce this with their own energy and to keep me protected from the spirit that claimed to be Saint Claire and other entities in her same frequency. I ended this mini ritual with the utmost gratitude for my spirit guides and closed the session. If you ever have a similar situation where a lower level spirit or entity is trying to contact you and basically push you into serving them through fear, you can do what I did, or you can also look up different rituals to banish negative spirits from your presence. I know there are a lot of them on YouTube and the internet in general. And I know that maybe some rituals will not work, but keep trying until you find what works and until you find what the root of the problem is. Because at least for me, this simple ritual helped me, and it helped me in a way that I have not had any more scary dreams or nightmares. I haven't had a dream with Saint Claire, nor have I had any other type of nightmares with any other types of entities. Nothing is amiss in my life. Everything's pretty quiet. So for me, this simple ritual worked, but maybe you need something else. So I suggest you go research. And before I go, I do also want to talk a little bit about the fact that, well, I know that these things happen and it happened to me as well. I also know that if you are able to get to a place where you do not believe in any of these things, or you do not believe that you can be hurt by any of these entities at all, and also if your own vibration is high enough, then I know that none of this will actually take any effect on you. For example, if ever there's a negative entity that will want to try to contact you or hurt you, or if someone throws a curse at you or something like that, if you are of the utmost belief, unconsciously and consciously, that none of that can harm you, it will not harm you. So there's that as well. And I think that's all for now. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that these reaches the people that it needs to reach, and I hope that it helps you. I hope that you go do your research, and please stay safe. Angelic blessings for all. Thank you so much. Bye.